Welcome to another crochet tutorial with Cozy Rosie UK. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can make this 3D granny square, which you can use for cushions or blankets. And this pattern is actually being featured in a crochet along. And I'm going to link all the details to the crochet along in the description box below for you, along with how you can see the written pattern for this and purchase both the crochet along and the written pattern as well. Now, before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and of course the notification bell so that you never miss out on another one of our crochet tutorials again. So let's think about the materials that we're going to need to create this beautiful square. Now you can use any 3 or 4 colours that you like. I'm going to show you the colours that I use to create this beauty along with all the other materials. So for the materials you're going to need is any DK weight or size 3 yarn to create this. I've used Paintbox yarns, Simply DK. Their colour choices are absolutely amazing. I'm going to link below where you can get these exact yarns that I used to make this square. And I'm going to tell you the shade numbers and colours that I used. So for colour A, I've used Bubblegum Pink, which is shade number 150. I've then used the Daffodil colour, which is 121. And this is paper white, so the whitest white they do, which is shade 100. And this green is pine green. I like the depth of this green. It's not wishy-washy. It's quite a nice deep green and really kind of contrasts for the leaves and for the edging of the square as well. So gather 4 different colours, and my first colour that I'm going to be using, colour A, is this Bubblegum Pink. We're also going to be needing a 4mm crochet hook, so just a standard hook to match the size of your yarn. You are going to need 3 or 4 stitch markers so we can mark out our corners. Unfortunately, you're really going to need a darning needle because there are a lot of ends, and of course some scissors to snip as we go. So gather your materials and let's get started. So the first shade that I'm starting with is colour A, which for me is the Bubblegum Pink. And I'm simply making a slip knot to place it onto my hook. And we start by making a chain of 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to slip stitch back into that first chain that we made. We're just inserting our hook under the first loop, bringing it through and straight through the loop on our hook. That's going to create a ring for us to work our first round into. I wouldn't recommend doing a magic circle for this pattern because you don't want your magic ring to ever come undone. So once you've done your chain 4, slip stitch into that first chain, and then we're going to move on to round 1. So we start with a chain 1. Now a chain 1 does not count as a stitch, and we're going to start by working 12 single crochets, so this is US terms, a single crochet into the middle of that ring. It's important we don't work into that space there. We're going right underneath that into the middle. So we insert the hook. You can see I'm working over my tail at the same time. We yarn over, bring that loop up, yarn over and pull through 2. And we do that for a total of 12 times. So that's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you start running out of room, you can shift your stitches along. 10, just by kind of pinching at that end and pushing around. 10, number 11, and number 12. So those first 12 stitches are what we're going to work our round 2 into. To join this round, you can see you've got your chain 1 there. We're actually going to go underneath the first stitch that we made by both loops and just slip stitch through those to join that round. And then you should have a little ring like that. So going into round 2, we begin by chaining 2. This does not count as a stitch. So we're going to work our bobble stitches into this round, and it's a 5 double crochet, US terms, a 5 double crochet bobble stitch. So we yarn over the hook, we insert the hook into the same stitch as our slip stitch in our chain 2. we yarn over, bring the loop up. You've got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over the hook, insert, bring a loop up, so you should have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and just pull through those first 2 loops. We're going to do that again, so insert, bring a loop up, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Now I've got 4 loops, going to yarn over, insert again, just pull through those first 2 loops. Because I'm going slow, I'm going to split my yarn. There we go, that's useful. There we go, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Do it for a 5th time. Just pull through those first 2 loops. And you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 loops on your hook. Once you've got your 6 loops, you yarn over and pull through all 6 loops. Into the next stitch, which is just there, ignore that one, so this one here, we're going to work a half double crochet or a UK half treble crochet. So we yarn over, insert the hook into the next stitch, bring a loop up, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. We've worked into that stitch here, so the next one we're going to work is the 5 double crochet cluster, and we're going to repeat that the whole way around. So 1 5 double crochet cluster and 1 half double crochet. So we'll do the 5 double crochet clusters together again. So we yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over to bring your loop up, yarn over and pull through 2, and we do that for a further 4 times. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. So that's our 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through all 6 loops. And then to the next stitch we yarn over and work our half double crochet. Now you can see that our baubles are actually on the wrong side, but when we get to the end of this row we're going to push them all the way through. So we're going to repeat that all the way round, so we should end up with 6 bobbles and 6 half double crochets at the end of round 1. So keep working around and I will meet you at the end of round 2, where we should have those 6 bobbles. So I just need to work my last half double crochet to complete round 2. What we're going to do is slip stitch to the top of our bobble stitch here. So it's actually, if you just pop your bubble the right way out, it makes it easier to see. That's my dog snoring, believe it or not. It makes it easier to see the top of that stitch. So we just need to insert our hook under that loop, that stitch, sorry, yarn over and just pull through. Now I'm going to fasten off for this colour for myself, so you're just going to chain 1 to fasten off and snip a length, because we're going to change to colour B going into the next round. Before we change the colours, you can just take a moment to push your bobbles through to the other side so that we're still working, so we know which side is which, because our bobbles should always be facing us. It's quite a fun bit. I enjoy popping these the right way out. So this is the end of round 2, and you should have your little middle there. If you find you're a bit wibbly wobbly, as I am there, you can just pull your tail yarn and it will cinch it closed, and you should have your bubbles. That one's facing the wrong way still. There we go. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bubbles and a half double crochet in between each of those. So I'm going to change over to colour B, which for me is Daffodil Yellow, and we can join in the top of any bobble stitch. I'm going to join where I fastened off. Sorry, I swear that's my dog snoring. It sounds ridiculous, but it is genuinely how she snores. I do apologise if you can hear that. So going into round 3, we're changing to colour B, and we're going to join into the top of any bobble. So I just hook the colour change over my hook and bring that through. Find my working yarn And in this instance, we're going to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to slip stitch into the top of the next bobble stitch. So we can see that that's the top of the bobble stitch there. So we just slip stitch into there. Oops. And we're going to repeat that all the way around back to where we started. So a chain of 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and slip stitch to the top of the next bobble. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we just repeat that the whole way round. So keep working round and I'll meet you back ready for round 4. So once you've completed your last chain of 6, I'm going to find that yellow tail. Where did it go? There it is. Just tighten that slip stitch there. We're going to slip stitch back into where we first joined the yarn, and then to continue into, so you should have 6 chain spaces, 6, I can't say so that many 6s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, particularly the start of our flower here. We're going to slip stitch into the chain 6 space here to start round 4. Once we've slip stitched into that first space, we're going to chain 1 and work 7 single crochets around the loop of this chain 6. So we literally just insert the hook into the chain space and work 7 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We then chain 2, and we continue to work 7 single crochets into the next chain space. So we just insert the hook to bring the loop up and complete the single crochet. We can move that down a bit and then work the remaining 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Chain 2, working directly into the next chain space. We're going to start the next 7 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You can see that's creating another little chain space around the start of these petals. So we chain 2 in between the 7 single crochets and then start those single crochets straight away into that next chain space. So 1. So once you come back round to where we started, we do that final chain 2, and then we slip stitch into the first single crochet that we made. So not this slip stitch here, but that first single crochet just next to the slip stitch in the chain 1. We just slip stitch to join, and then we can fasten off here. So I'm just going to do a little chain 1 to create a small knot, and then just snip with a little tail. So we'll end round 4 with 42 single crochets, and we should still have these 6 new chain 2 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So going into round 5, we're going to change to our third colour. We're going to join our third colour into any of the chain 2 spaces. So I'm just going to join where I fastened off and literally just once again place the new yarn over my hook and bring it back through that chain 2 space. And then we're going to start with a chain of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now this chain 5 counts as 1 double crochet and a chain 2. So we're going to continue to work into the same chain 2 space, and we're going to work another single crochet, chain 2, and again working into that same chain 2 space, working another double crochet. We're then going to skip the next 3 single crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, and we're going to single crochet into that 4th single crochet in that chain, the 7 single crochets we had in the previous round. We then skip the next 3 single crochets, and working into that chain 3 space, we work a double crochet, we chain 2, work another double crochet into the same chain 2 space. Oops. Oh, why can't I catch that? 1. There we are. So we need another chain 2 and a 3rd double crochet into that chain 2 space. So this is going to create more spaces effectively, while kind of cinching it down to the middle of the 7 double crochets. So we skip 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and work a single crochet into that middle of the 7. And then we're back. We're going to work into this chain 2 space again, working a double crochet, a chain 2, double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet. Skip 3, so 1, 2, 3. We're going to work into that 4th single crochet along with 1 single crochet before working into the next chain 2 space with our double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, chain 2. Oh, I forgot to do my chain 2s. So chain 2, double crochet, chain 2, and another double crochet. I'm going to skip those next 3 single crochets, so 1, 2, 3, and work into that 4th again with placing a single crochet, and then we're double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. This brings us back to where we began this round, and in this stage we're not going to crochet into the last chain, we're going to crochet into that 3rd chain along, so 1, 2, 3, and this is to join our round. We slip stitch through the 3rd chain from our starting chain of 5. Wonderful. We're going to fasten off because we're going to change back to colour A. Going into round 6, I'm changing to my colour A, so my Bubblegum Pink, and for this round we're going to join into the right chain 2 space between these double crochets. So this is my left hand side. Obviously if you're crocheting right handed you'll need to flip that around and work in the left hand chain 2 space, and we simply just, as we've done before, just bring that yarn through to join. If you really want to, you can tie it on, but I prefer not to do that for this. And what we're going to do here is going to do a chain 1. This does not count as a stitch. Just tighten all of that up. And working into this chain 2 space, we're going to work 2 half double crochets. Oops. Followed by 2 double crochets. Followed by a treble crochet. So we yarn over the hook twice, insert the hook, bring up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We're then going to create a picot by chaining 2 and slip stitching back under that first loop of the first chain that we made. And then we're going to work into the other side of the chain spaces. We start with our treble crochet, so we yarn over the hook twice. Now we're working into the other side of the chain spaces. So we work that treble crochet, US treble, followed by 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and 2 half double crochets, all into that chain 2 space. So that's 1, oops, and 2. I have another dog dreaming next to me. This is joyous. And that creates our first petal. You may need to straighten your picot a little bit, but we're going to continue to repeat that all the way around. Before we move on to the next petal, we're just going to work around the post of this single crochet, which means that we go in behind. See where you've got these bigger spaces here? You go underneath those, around the front, grab your loop and bring it up, working a single crochet. And that attaches your petal around there as well. And then we can start our next petal, working into these chain spaces that we created on the previous round. And we're going to work, first of all, 2 half double crochets. So that's 1 and 2. 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, oops, I did half of that one, so 1 double crochet and the second double crochet, followed by our treble crochet in US terms, so double treble in the UK terms. So we yarn over twice, bring up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2, then create that lovely little point on the petal with a picot. So we chain 2, slip stitch under that first loop of the first chain that you made. Not very good at slip stitching. And then we work our way back down again. So we start with our double treble, or treble in US terms, sorry. And then we do a double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, followed by a half double crochet, 1 and 2. To move around to our next petal, we're going to do that single crochet post stitch. So we go underneath and around the post of that single crochet, bring your loop up, yarn over and pull through both loops. We're going to repeat that around so that each one of these has a petal above it. So we're going to have 6 petals at the end of this. So just as a reminder, we work 2 half double crochets, 2 double crochets, a treble crochet, chain 2, slip stitch into the first chain made, working into that next chain 2 space. We do a treble crochet, 2 double crochets, 2 half double crochets, and then we work around that post of the single crochet of the previous round to create that bridge there at the bottom. So continue working around, completing round 6, and I will meet you ready for round 7. So once you've completed all of your petals and you're happy with your little picots, they've got a little point on them, then you can just slip stitch to the first half double crochet made. Just going to pull that pink because there we are, that was a little bit untidy. So we're just slip stitching to that first stitch we made in the round, and then we're going to change colours again. And finally we're going to work our leaves. So once you've done that, you can just snip and change to colour D, or your 4th colour. We should now be looking a little bit more like a very basic flower here. Good. So colour 4 for me is, of course, this lovely pine green. So where do we join for round 7? So we're going behind, bring your hook through the left-handed space again and through the back. So your hook comes out of the back there. And just like we've done before, do that again actually to make sure you're happy with where we're going. So we come through the back and back out under here. So around this post here. So through the back and back out. Change over to your next colour. And from here, we're going to work on the rear of this flower. So we're going to start by doing a chain of 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can either let your flower dangle. I'm kind of holding mine in place so it doesn't spin around too much. And I'm folding my petals out of the way for this round as well, because we're then going to slip stitch into the second chain from hook. So not this first one at the top, but this second one here. So we slip stitch into our second chain from hook, and then we work down the remainder of the chain. So the next 7 chains. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So once we've done those 7 slip stitches, we are going to, just going to make sure that's tight enough. We're then going to back post slip stitch, move that tail out of the way, around. So we're going in from the back, so it comes out around this post. So we just, oops, we slip stitch there. And then we chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So what we're doing with this round here is we're creating the base to work our flowers. So our petals, and our petals should be in between the first row of petals that we've made. So once we've chained 3, move that tail out of the way, we're going around this post here again. So we come in from the back and back out to slip stitch around. We'll do it together again, don't you worry. So chain 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We slip stitch into that second chain from hook, and then we slip stitch down the next 7 chains. So 1, 2, 3. There's number 6. Come on, what do you get? 6 and 7. Once you've done that last slip stitch, we're going to come in from the back around that second post and just slip stitch around there. That secures the base of the leaf in between those 2 petals. Then we chain 3 and slip stitch or around that first post again. So we go in and out before we repeat that the whole way round. So there we've got the base of 2 petals, sorry, 2 leaves made. And at the back, you've got these chain of 3, which we're going to work into as well on that next round. So keep repeating that around. So you do your chain 9, then work into that second chain from hook, and then we do slip stitch into that second chain from hook and the next 7 stitches, next 7 chains. Slip stitch around that next post, but coming in from the back and back out, and then do your chain 3, slip stitching around the back of the next post. We don't do anything with this middle one, we're just going to leave that. So it's just bring your hook from the back through the front and back out the back again to do those slip stitches. So I'm going to continue with my round 7 and I will meet you for round 8. You should have 6 sticks, it's the easiest way to call them, 6 sticks ready to work our leaves onto. So work that around and I'll meet you back there in a moment. So once you've worked your last chain 3, we're going to slip stitch into the bottom of the original join that we made. Just slip stitch around there. And don't worry if your points are facing inwards, because when we've got the rest of the flower, it will push those stems to the right position. So you should now, if you look at the back of this, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. I'm just going to call them leaf stems because I don't know what else to call them really. And we're going to work into these going into round 8. So from where we are, where we've just slip stitched to join, we're going to chain 1. And then we're going to work up the length of this sleeve, working into the other side of the chain. So we start, it's okay, sweetheart. Sorry, excuse me, my dogs again. We're going to start by working a single crochet into that first chain. And then we do a half double crochet into the next. Then we work a double crochet into the next one. We're not in the same place. Nope. That's a double crochet. We're doing 2 trebles across the next one. So 1. Oh my goodness. And 2. And we come back down again by working a double crochet and a half double crochet into there. And then in the top, so we've got that space in between the stitches and the slip stitch, we're going to work, so you just click up 1 loop, we're going to work a single crochet, a chain 1, then it reinsert your hook into the same space again and work a single crochet. So it should look a little bit like that. So we've had single crochet, half double, double, treble, treble, double, half double, treble, sorry, half treble. Oh my goodness, and I've said all the wrong names here. So single crochet, double crochet, treble crochet, treble crochet, double crochet, half double, and then in that very top kind of the stitch we didn't work into when we slip stitched, we're working our single crochet, a chain 1 and a single crochet. We're then going to work down the other side where we've already slip stitched. It's a bit easier to see the stitches on this side, and we're going to reverse what we did. So we start by having our half double crochet into that first slip stitch. Push my hook through this one, it's going to go through. I knew that was going to be tight. There we go. So a half double crochet through the first one, followed by a double crochet. Oops. And then we do our treble crochets. 1, 2, and then we've got our double crochet, followed by finally our half double, and the absolute final one on this leaf is going to be our single crochet just in that very last one. And that creates our little petal. It's a leaf, Fiona, not a petal. You can see that the the stitches are directly opposite each other, so that when you've got that right top, you've got that little chain one there, it creates that little peak there. So the next part for this round 8, we're going to work, move that out of the way, tails everywhere, sorry. We're going to work into that chain 3 space that we made very simply by just working 3 single crochets around that chain 3 that we made. So that's 1, 2 and 3. We're going to repeat, you can fold your petals out of the way. We're going to repeat that all the way again up this stem. So we start by inserting our hook under that first bit left of the chain, working our single crochet, and then we do our half double crochet. Settle down, sweetheart. So we do our half double crochet, our double crochet, a treble crochet into the next 2, so that's 1 and 2. We come back down again by working a double crochet into the next one. Oops. And then our half double into there. Then right into that top one that we didn't do anything with, and that chain 9, we're going to work a single crochet, chain 1 and a single crochet. And then we work back down the other side of the leaf, working our way back down. We've worked there. This is the first one we're going to work into. You can just see that there. We're going to work our half double crochet, our double crochet, and then we do our 2 treble crochets across the next 2 stitches. 1 second, sweetheart. That's 1 and 2. And then we do a double crochet, half double, and then we finish with our single crochet. Our lovely little leaves. And we just need to work our 3 single crochets around that chain of 3 we did in the previous round. So 1, 2 and 3. So repeat that for each of the leaf stems. So we're going to work our single crochet, half double, double, treble, treble, double, half. Then right in the top, that single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, come back doing the reverse. So we do the half double, double, treble, treble, double, half, single, and work those 3 singles around that chain 3 space. So by the end of this round, which is round 8, you will have 6 green leaves. So keep working each of your leaves and I'll meet you if we're ready for round 9. So once you've made your 6 separate leaves and you've worked your final 3 single crochets, we're just going to slip stitch into that first stitch that we made to join that round, and we can fasten off colour D, and we're changing to colour B. So for me that is the Daffodil Yellow, should I say. So don't worry, it's all going to look curly. I can tell you how bad it looks before we block it. But don't worry, we're going to sort that out. Let me move that out of the way. So we're going into round 9, and we're going to start by rejoining our yarn into the middle single crochet of any one of these 3 single crochets we've made. I'm going to go back to where I've joined. I like to keep my ends all together. So 1, 2, we're going for rejoin in that middle single crochet that we made in those, along those chain 3s. Why can't I get through that one? There we go. So just pop your hook through. Oh, I must have, I split my yarn, that's why. So we're going to rejoin colour B. So we're going to make some yellow petals now. So we're going to rejoin straight into there. That's that middle single crochet, from the 3 single crochets we made in the previous round, in between the leaves. And we start by working a chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this counts as a double crochet and a chain 2. So into that same stitch again, we're going to work a further further double crochet. This may look familiar this round. A chain 2, and then another double crochet back into that same stitch again. So this is very similar to the round we did before. I think it was round 5. We're going to be doing a very similar to round 5. So we've got our chain 5, a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Then we're going to chain 1 and single crochet into, there's one, you see how to explain this. When you're looking at it, imagine if we turn that the right way around. There is one strand remaining at the base of our leaf, that little bit there that we want to insert our hook into. We're going to work a single crochet. I'm going to locate mine, there we go. So it's just, oh, these ends, I'm so sorry, it makes it difficult to show you. So I'm folding my leaf down and exposing the back of the leaf, and it's right at the base of that leaf there. We're just going to go, oh goodness me, sorry, I'm showing you very well here. There we are. So it's almost that you're going under that strand there and working a single crochet. It's not visible from the other side, okay? So this is why we're doing it like that. We're going to chain 1. We're going to skip that next single crochet, and then we're going to start our repeat. So we yarn over the hook, insert our hook into that second single crochet along, work 1 double crochet, chain 2, 1 double crochet, all into the same stitch, chain 2, and then 1 double crochet. We then chain 1. I'm going to bend that leaf down, find that space that we can at the base of that leaf. I really want you to see what I'm actually doing here. So you see you've got the middle section here of that leaf. We're just going around that base there and working our single crochet, chain 1. We're going to skip that first single crochet, working into this single crochet, that middle of the 3 there, and we're going to yarn over and work 1 double crochet, chain 2, a second double crochet, chain 2, and our final double crochet, all working into that same stitch. We're going to chain 1 and then work around that base of that leaf there. There we go. We're going to repeat that all the way around. It's not something you're really going to see from the other side. We're going to work our second layer of petals in the next round. So complete that all the way around, working those a chain 1 and then working into that middle single crochet with your double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. And I will meet you back once you've finished that at the end of row 9, and we will go into row 10 together. So once you've completed your final one, you've done your chain 1 like we did it on the last time we used these stitches. We're going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain of our original starting chain of 5. Ends everywhere. I mean, if you're really great, you can weave your ends in as you go. I'm not one of those people, so we're just going to have to deal with them, I'm afraid. So we're going to go straight into round 10. We're continuing in our second colour. For me, that is the daffodil. And we start by just slip stitching into the chain space that we're in. Okay, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to repeat our petal. It's slightly different. So we start with 2 half double crochets. That's 1 and 2, 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. This is all worked into that first chain 2 space. We're going to work 2 treble crochets, so that's a US treble, UK double treble. That's 1 and 2. Here's the super fun one. So this is a US double treble and a UK triple treble. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to wrap that yarn around 3 times. Insert the hook, yarn over, bring a loop up, pull through 2, 4 times. Okay, so that's 1/2 of our petal. We're going to make our picot, so we chain 2, and then we are going to slip stitch into the first chain that we made. That creates our little point, and then we repeat the same down this side here. So we start with that double treble in US terms, so we wrap it 3 times and we work yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops 4 times. It's a really nice tall stitch, this one. We're then going to do 2 double trebles, 2 treble crochets, US treble, UK double treble. Which seems small in comparison, don't they? 2 double crochets. And finally 2 half double crochets. Oops. Oh, there we go. Whew. So it is a big leaf, this one, or a big petal. So it stands up nice and proud behind the first petal that we made. So to move around for this one, we're going to front post half double crochet this time around this post here. So we yarn over, go around the post from the back. So we insert the hook, come back out, yarn over, bring a loop up, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. I say leaves then, I'll get myself all confused. There we go. So it looks a bit like that. We're going to repeat that the whole way around. So we'll do this next petal together. So we're going to work 2 half double crochets. That's 1 and 2. 2 double crochets. 2 treble crochets, US trebles. Yep, 1. Oops. And 2. And we're going to do that US double treble, so we wrap 3 times this time, and this is a UK triple treble, so we've got 4 loops before we even start. So we yarn over, bring up that loop, yarn over and pull through 2 4 times. Oh, I dropped it. Sorry, let's try that again. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Whew. Going to do our chain 2 to create our picot by slip stitching back into that first loop that we made. Sorry, struggling to see on the camera here at the moment. It's gone, there it is. I do find that yellow, I'm coming straight off the camera, yellow is quite a thin yarn generally because of the dye that they use. It makes it a little bit thinner than some of the other colours. Then going to do that US double treble, so by yarning over 3 times, and then pull through 2 4 times. And then we're going to do 2 treble crochets, they're US trebles of course. And then we move on to 2 double crochets and 2 half double crochets. So we've done that, we're going to do that front post half double crochet around that post there. So we yarn over the hook, insert our hook around the front of that post, around the back of it should I say, Then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So if you continue and repeat, oh damn, caught, there we are. So repeat that all the way around so that you end up with another 6 petals. And I will meet you back at the end of round 10 and we will continue into round 11. Okay, so for the end of round 10, work that last half double around your post, and then we're just slip stitching to that first half double crochet we made at the beginning of the round, and we can fasten off because we're going to be changing colour again. So that you should now have 6 yellow petals, and you can see how your leaves are kind of being held in place. So for round 11, we're going to join in around any one of these kind of chain 2 posts that we can. I'm just going to join around this one, so I'm going round the back to join this to keep it really neat. And we just bring that stitch back through, so we're working at the base of that petal. Oops, a little bit of yarn now. Just going to chain 1 to secure that before I tell you what to do next. So we're going to chain 3, sorry, not chain 1. So 1, 2 and 3. And we're going to double crochet into that same chain space. So back around that post really, so 1. So that chain 3 does count as a stitch. And we're going to repeat that all the way around each of these chain 2 spaces. So we just go underneath that post and work 2 double crochets around each of these chain 2 spaces. We also need to work around these little ones here. So we're going to work around all the chain spaces around. So yarn over, you see, I'm working from across the back almost. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So for each petal there are 4 chain 2 spaces. That's why you can join in any of them really. So 1, and we just work 2 double crochets into each. That's 2, and we've got that next space there. Probably easier to look at it from the other side, but so 1 and 2. So if you were to look at it from the front, you can see that we're working around those, not the petal itself, but around the base of the petals, so that we're getting stitches into all of them. And we do that all the way around. So we've got 1, oh, double Vienna. And so we're doing 2 double crochets into each of these. You need to check where your next one is. You can just lift your petal up and have a look. Little one either side here. 1 and 2. Another little one there. 1 and 2. So you're going to repeat that the whole way around, and it will literally cover the whole of this back with our with our third colour in my case, which is the paper white. So continue working around, working 2 double crochets into each chain space around, and I will meet you back at the end of round 11. I've cheekily just snipped some of my ends that I've been able to work around as I've gone on. So you should end, it's really important this stitch count, you should have a total of 48 double crochets at the end of round 11, because what we're going to do in the next stage is we're going to mark our corners. So we end just by slip stitching to the top of that chain 3, remembering that chain 3 does count as a stitch, and we're not going to fasten off, okay, just going to bring up a loop. So at the end of row 11 you have possibly what looks like a very messy flower if you're like me, So now's a really good time to weave in the ends that you can, but leaving your last colour yarn attached. So get these all woven in. I'm going to split these videos because there's a lot more than I thought there would be. So this is part 1, and I'm going to link in the description box below where you can find part 2 so that we can go on to add our square. This is where we're going to square off our pattern. We're going to work our rounds and add our border on. So if you're at this point, take a moment now just to weave in your ends, and I will see you in the second video for part 2 of the Blooming Springtime Granny Square.